You know, nothing you love to do is embarrassing, and I think that's something everyone should tell themselves every day. Like, no, it's not embarrassing for me, it's embarrassing for you because you're that concerned that I like this.
Welcome to this very special recording of my podcast, Rain with Josh Smith. Yes! Loving the fans in the house. Now, if you didn't know already, the podcast is all about open and honest conversations, and most importantly, unstoppable queens. And you don't really get an unstoppable queen quite like Addison Rae, guys, do you? No, you do not.
You're the best.
Babes, hyping you up with the Hype Girl Police tonight. Well, without further ado, there's been these rumors that you're not going to be on TikTok anymore, babes, and you're going to have to get, quote unquote, a proper job, as you said on Instagram. What is this all about, babe? Tell me.
I obviously get on TikTok every day pretty much, so everyone else I'm sure does too. But I was talking to my friends and my team, and I was like, sometimes social media is so toxic. I wish it would just go back to the way it was, when you just posted to share and whatever. And then I go on my TikTok and I'm like, whatever. So I'm like, okay, scrolling, and then all of a sudden I'm like, it's permanently banned, and I'm like,
you're like,
what
whoa!
The universe was just please stop talking bad about social media. But then it came back, thank God. Because I think I'm pretty sure I just got banned for no reason. It was random, I don't know.
It was the universe, babe, basically.
The universe was
answering
please
your call.
Stop, count your blessings.
How do you keep a positive relationship with yourself and your inner self-critic, and especially amongst that noise that comes from being on social media and the criticism that it brings as well?
The first year into doing social media, I was I kind of lost who I was in a way, and dealt with this I don't know, this inner me was just do you even know yourself anymore? Or are you just doing, changing things about yourself so people will be like, oh, that's cool, oh, I like that, and it's I forget that the way I started on social media was so raw and me, that that's what people would like. People liked when you can just be different and be yourself. I think just remembering and reflecting and taking time to actually do the things I love to do and wear what I like to wear, and who cares if someone doesn't like it or not, because it doesn't matter.
It must get quite hard sometimes to get overwrought with all the things that are going on around you. How do you still do the same things you used to do? How do you still manage that kind of relationship with your old self in a way?
It gets hard, for sure. I think for everyone, I feel I have an identity crisis every other day, and I'm who am I? What do I like?
Babe.
Where am I? What's going on? But especially with the way that the trends go so fast nowadays, I don't know if anyone else notices it, but trends are rolling. It's this is cool one day, then this is out, and people think it's weird the next day, and it's I'm I just hopped on this trend. Why is it?
It's hard to keep up, hon.
Cool? For me, keeping myself the way I know I always am is just trusting my gut.
Because as well, on top of that, having this huge success at a young age, does it make you then scared to fail?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe with expectations then being set for yourself, I guess, and around you, people then have these extreme expectations, oh, well, you did this when you were this age, and now what? Now what are you gonna do? And how do you live up to that? Yeah, I guess I do feel that way sometimes, a little bit scared to fail, but I think everyone feels scared to fail sometimes and let people down. You never want to let people down. I mean, especially me, I feel that's my entire life I've been no, I've got to prove you wrong. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do what I say I want to do. And yeah, I think it's normal to be scared of failure, but also understand that that's kind of a part of growing and going through changes and figuring out how to do things in a new way. So maybe failure is not as bad as we make it seem, Maybe failing is a part of figuring it out and growing and evolving and changing and finding new ways to make things work, I guess.
Babes, I think we need a clap for that quote. That was amazing. It's one of the things I love about you is how honest you've been about mental health. And we talked about this before, about therapy, right? How important has open and honest conversations been to you? And how life-saving has open and honest conversations been?
I feel it's hard to be honest a lot. It is hard. And that's just the truth, which I'm being honest about that it's hard to be honest. And it's hard to open up to people and say things that are sometimes uncomfortable to say. even for me, like, oh, I don't feel good today. I can't, I don't know if I can do this, or if I'm going through a tough time, to be honest and be like, I'm not okay today. I'm not. And I'm a really positive person, I'd say. And like, people definitely think that's weird. And like, I've gotten that my entire life. Like, I smile a lot, probably too much, honestly. But people like say that, and they'll be like, you smile too much. You're too happy. And I'm like, why would you not choose to be happy? Like,
what is that kind of BS about?
It's so good to decide that you're gonna be happy, and decide you're gonna have a good day, decide you're in a good mood, and like make those conscious efforts to like actually live that out. But it's really important to also have those like moments where you can be honest with yourself and be like, no, I'm not fine today. I'm not okay. And if my friend asks me, hey, how's your day? I'm gonna go, it's awful. Like, my day's terrible and I'm having a bad day. And I feel like I've become a lot more like that. And I've become a lot more honest, because life is so short. Like, why lie about it? Why lie
So
that you're
true,
okay when you're
babe.
not? And there's so many people that can relate, and it's all about being open and honest about it. And that's a big part of like therapy too, is finding a therapist that you can be honest about and hear what someone has to say about what you're going through, because a lot of people experience the same thing. And that's what I think we've forgotten as like a society, even, is like, no, we can relate to other people, and there are things that you're going through in your life that a million other people have had to experience, and maybe know a little bit more about it than you do, because you're just now going through it.
You've literally carved your own career, your own narrative, out of literally nothing. You did it yourself. You did it on your own.
Thank you.
How incredible is that, to know that you did that for you?
It's really insane. And I think it also, I like love to just tell people, like, anything you want to do in your life is so possible. It's actually crazy. I have like journals back when I was like in high school, literally like writing out in high school. I was in like an English class with my best friend Gussie, still one of my best friends to this day. And we would write down like, all right, who's gonna sell their car and who's gonna get a Prius so that we can drive to California and live there. I was like, we'll live there in a car, like we have to. And just like all those little things, like now leading up to where I am in my life, I'm like, I never, like in those moments, I was so willing to do whatever it took to get where I am, and so willing to do whatever it took to chase that dream of mine that like I've had forever, that I would do anything to do it. And so if you have a dream in your life, it's so possible to make it happen. It's actually kind of crazy. I will say, when I was posting TikToks, like when it started, people would be like looking at me like, what are you doing? Also, there is 100% videos of me like last year, like doing TikToks in public, and it's like, who is that girl? Like everyone in the comments is like, this is so embarrassing. And I'm like, is it embarrassing though? Is it embarrassing now? Like,
you're like, look at this. Is this embarrassing now? No, it's not.
No, but it's so true. It is in those moments though that you can look back and be like, undeniably like driven to a goal and like not caring what anyone has to say about it. And I think that's what I always did growing up, is just like, oh, you think I'm embarrassing? Like, watch this. This will be embarrassing, like, and just not being afraid to like do stuff like that. And I think that's in everyone's life, you deal with that, where people are like, oh, even growing up, oh, you love to dance, you love to do this, that's embarrassing. Like, no, it's not. I like it. Why is it embarrassing? Nothing you love to do is embarrassing, and I think that's something everyone should tell themselves every day. Like, no, it's not embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for you because you're that concerned that I like this. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's embarrassing here.
Yes to that. Live your true, authentic self.
Be yourself.